Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me today. This is just going to be a compilation of all of the videos that I made for my most requested console in Retro Projections collection video. I don't remember if I did. I think I did 11 videos. Since the Turbo Duo took up 2 spots, only 1 video, and I made a few extras. I did not include a video in which I got into the rules of retro, the 3 rules, which I have written down because I write everything down. Must play original software, must use original hardware, must have been made before 2000. Those are the 3 rules of retro. If you don't like it, well, you can get the F out of here. Because that's it, man. Why 2000? Because that's when high-speed internet was worldwide. Okay? It's the single greatest important technological advance that we have in the last 35 years. And so, yeah, that's it. High-speed internet, no high-speed internet. That's the dividing line. And like I said, man, I'm not going to argue with anyone. I'll just mute you, and I don't have to hear you ever again. It's not even worth my time getting in with some of these fools. Had a ton of people getting really, really angry with these lists, and it's made for fun, right? And I do this out of my spare time. I'm not a professional, and it's all made up. I have all these notebooks, right? Here they are. Well, these are some of them. I have about 7 or 8 more. They're all over the place. And this is a product of my own broken brain, right? I had a brain tumor when I was a child into when I was a teen. I developed amnesia. I didn't know that I had amnesia. I kept going to counseling for it. Turns out, forgot about it. But I had all these notes. I would take notes about everything. And what did I find? But notes, I had begun taking tallies of all the requests that you all were giving me for my videos, or even in person sometimes, or email, or whatever it was. And I was taking them down, and I was writing them all down. And it was because a friend of mine, Jonathan Heiss, who, what's his channel called? Retro 64, I think? I'll look it up, maybe. He's the one who gave me the rad Streets of Rage 2 poster, which I love. Thank you, Jonathan. He gave me this idea. Well, actually, it was as he and I were talking. He wanted me to do a top 10 consoles in my opinion. And I said, well, I'm not really big on other people's opinions, but what I would like to do if I had enough time is tally up what people either watch or request the most, and put that all in order. And so I decided on request. And so you notice in the top 10 consoles, there's a very auspicious absence of the color gray, right? There's no NES. There's no Super Nintendo. There's no PlayStation. There's no Game Boy. There's no N64. Why? It's because you've never asked. Not nearly enough. You know what people ask about? This. This isn't even a console. Sega Dreamcast VMU. They want to see this stupid thing, all right, which is nothing. It's not even a gaming device. I took the battery out of it because I needed to unlock my truck. That's what this is. This is like a glorified key fob for a gaming controller, and it stores memory data for save files. People want to see that. That would have been my number 2 console. Here's the number 1 most requested console, and this one's, it's cool for what it is, right? WonderSwan color. Very, very cool. Got this from Josh Moore, and I like it. But, you know, gaming on the go is not something that I've needed since I was able to drive, right? So it's been 30 years that if I'm going somewhere, it's because I'm going to be doing something. And I'm traveling myself. I'm driving because I live in Kansas and everything is far enough away that you can't walk there. And when I get wherever it is, I'm busy doing. So gaming on the go, that's for people who ride trains and buses, and that's just not us. So yeah, this list, it's all you. It's not me. I did not pick the Wonder Swan. If it were up to me, right? And not even joking, if it were up to me, my most valued consoles are probably Sega for the first 5 spots, maybe even 6, and then Neo Geo, and then Duo, and then all the rest. Everything else is tied. It's not that I don't want any of the things that I own. I like them. That's why I have them. I bought a Super Nintendo when it was new because I was excited to have it. And after playing it for 6 months, I was very underwhelmed by it. I got it for the RPGs, I got it for the platformers, and I make a little fun of Super Nintendo in one of my videos about choices that we have to decide, between Genesis and Super Nintendo. I decide in the video, Genesis, if I pick you, I could play you too much. And I did. I played my Genesis so much that when the Saturn came out, I had no appreciation for what it was trying to do. I couldn't appreciate it because I loved the Genesis so much. And the Super Nintendo, I bought it for platformers and RPGs, which, I know people love Square and Enix and Square Enix and all of that. I think they're some of the most monotonous, mundane, regurgitated. They're just uninspired and boring. I like Final Fantasy VII, and that's the only Final Fantasy I like. And even that, most of it is a bore. But, I'm the guy that can beat it in under 19 hours. So if you have an issue with what I'm saying, then you can take that to that brick wall over there. Anyways, let's get right into the top 10. I'm not being the big personality today. That's just not my style right now. And I'm going to get back into some of my shorts where I just show some software. And if you don't like it, like I said, brick wall over there. Let's watch the videos right now. I'm John. This is Retro Projections. Top 10 lists are all the rage in retro gaming. I'm going to do you one better, Retro Projections style. The top 10 most requested consoles in my collection. Number 10, the Sega Dreamcast. 128-bit architecture, ready to go with a modem right out of the box. You can get online, enjoy yourself for about a year and a half before it was discontinued. Now, why did that happen? Well, they just couldn't compete with Sony anymore. But you know what? They sold every single one of these they made. Almost 10 million in a year and a half? That's unheard of in 1999-2000. I loved it. They went out on their shield like a hero. My kids loved it because their controller looks like a spaceship. Well, hello there. Welcome back for another one of my top 10 most requested consoles, retro projection style. This is a bit of a shortcut as it's number 9 and number 8. It's 2 consoles in one. The Turbo Duo. It not only plays TurboGrafx 16 cards, but it also plays TurboGrafx 16 discs. I'm into shortcuts. It's how I graduated high school 3 semesters early. But I kept going back sometimes. Was it the girls? It wasn't the food. Well, hello there. It's time for number 7 in the most requested consoles Retro Projection has in his collection. You know, this one's known for having dual 32-bit RISC processors, right? And it held its own. It kept chugging along with cartridges, despite the big giants in the industry using discs at the time, and had a few racing games on it. And I'm talking, of course, about the Genesis 32X. It looks like a mushroom. You didn't think I was talking about the N64, did you? Does anyone even want to see that one?
Virtual Racing.
Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me for the number 6 most requested console in Retro Projections collection. When this came out, it was huge. It was, for a lot of us, the first chance we ever had to game video games at home. Think of it. Interacting with a computer program on your very own television in your living room with friends and family. It was a phenomenon. People lined up. They either had one or wanted one. They had played it or they wanted to play it, and forevermore, these 3 letters became synonymous with home gaming excellence. I'm, of course, talking about the Atari VCS. It's got wood grain. Isn't that awesome? Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me again today for another most requested console in Retro Projections collection. We're up to number 5. Every kid who had a Mega Drive Genesis back in the day wanted it. Very few got to own one. So many games were on the Sega CD. Action games, beat-em-ups, arcade, RPGs, a ton, a literal mess of FMV, full motion video games. They didn't age well. I don't go back to play those very often, but if you have the time and the means, there are 25 to 30 games on the Sega CD that are absolute bangers, classics. Is it worth your time? Is it ever? Is it worth the money? Is it ever? Well, hello there. Welcome back to Retro Projections. I have a question for you. What's the difference between a converter and a console? Well, both of these need some kind of mothership to play. This one just has leads that plug the Master System game into your Genesis or Mega Drive. It works only on a Genesis Mega Drive because the Genesis Mega Drive is backwards compatible. The Super Game Boy, it's got a Game Boy in it. It uses the Super Nintendo's power leads just to power the Game Boy in there, and you can watch it on the screen. This will work on any clone console with the proper power. But that being said, which of these two is the most requested? Here's a hint. Have you ever heard a kid with a Game Boy say, "You know what? You play this time? I think I'd like to watch." Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me today for the number 4 most requested console in Retro Projections collection. You know, when you first saw this one with the buttons of red, yellow, green, blue, you knew you had to get your grubby little hands all over it, right? But where to put the quarters? No, I'm not talking about a Super Nintendo. I'm talking about this, my Neo Geo MVS, the arcade console brought home to play here in my basement on my Sony Trinitron. You know, a lot of people think that the Neo Geo is an elitist console, that it's very, very expensive and you can't possibly ever attain the funds that you need to power something like this. Baby, it's been cheaper than Netflix. I've had it 8 years. And you know what works when the internet's out? Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me today. You know, you've caught me reflecting on just how great of a genius I am, because there's only 3 spots left in the most requested consoles and retro projections collection. And so what did I choose? Well, I didn't choose it all. You chose the console that's 3 consoles in one. Yes, the Sega Genesis. It not only plays North American Sega Genesis cartridges, it also plays Japanese Mega Drive cartridges and Master System. Of course, I cannot accept this for 3 spots. It's one console. It's the number 3 console, the console you chose, the Sega Genesis. I would have had it higher, but I don't have a vote in this, folks. A Nintendo video! Yes, punchline first. Now let's get to the joke. The joke is the Super Nintendo have drawn even in this, my most requested consoles and retro projections collection. But they're not vying for that number 1 spot. No, they're bringing up the rear. These are the 2 least requested consoles that I have. They're even behind the Leapfrog Leapster Explorer. Can you believe that? One of my daughter's little toys. Yeah, just goes to show, what's a Nintendo fan hate worse than a Sega Genesis video? You say it with me. Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me yet again today for the number 2 most requested console and retro projections collection. I told you the Genesis wouldn't take all 3 top spots. I'm here to keep that promise. It's only going to take 2 out of the 3 spots because did you know every Model 1 and Model 2 Sega Genesis had the capability to play these guys? Sega Master System, making every Genesis 1 or 2 a Master System. They can play every game except F-16 Fighting Falcon. But if you want to play F-16 Fighting Falcon, you're probably the type of person that also wants your baby teeth back. Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me yet again for the number 1 most requested console and retro projections collection. Yes, Retro Projections, the number 1 retro projectionist show on YouTube. And what do we got? Well, the console that can't possibly be put on a projector. Of course it's your number 1 most requested console. The WonderSwan Color? I'm seriously not joking, folks. This has had thousands, literally thousands of requests to see me, just me, playing the WonderSwan Color. So I guess don't blame me for giving you what you asked for, right?